Hi, I'm Tim Stapleton with GT Automotive in South Jordan, Utah. One of the makes we specialize in is Honda.
GT Automotive. We're talking about common Honda problems. This one obviously oil leak. They seem to have a fair amount of rear main seal oil leaks on Hondas that we see. They're not too hard to repair, but somewhat common. And a lot of CV axle problems. These boots are okay. And people tend to wear out their brakes, I think, because they like driving their car so much. We'd end up doing a lot of brake jobs on these. Easy to spot when a rear main seal leaks because it tends to leak a pretty good puddle underneath the center of the engine area. They generally leak a little more when the engine's shut off on a rear main seal. It's not a common problem necessarily, but just with age they tend to start to leak. You'll notice kind of a mess in your driveway when that happens. An original CV axle, it's not too bad a shape, but these outer boots here are what tend to, you can look for, if you get under here to see, you'll see cracks, or if you ever see grease all around the outside of the wheel, that's because the boot is split open and it'll throw the grease out. And that's because the wheel's turning back and forth and it stretches these boots in and out like an accordion, and the causes of the tear. And over on this side, you've got a new axle that's been replaced. Kind of obvious how clean it is and shiny the axle is. So look for, if you have if the boot over here rips open, you'll actually get grease start to accumulate as it throws the grease out when it's driving. And just if you can look at the boot, you want to look for cracks or split. If you see little hairline cracks in the folds of the boot, then it's time to get it replaced. Really important to have done. They're based on mileage. Anywhere from 90,000 to 105,000 is they're due to be replaced. And the reason is they're a rubber belt. If they break, they can do some engine damage. And then we always like to replace the engine oil seals, the cam and crank seals. We also like to replace the water pump on these engines because the timing belt drives the water pump. So it's a good idea to replace everything while you're in there. It doesn't really take much more labor because you've already got it apart. And it makes for a much better repair. See the oil leaking, and this is probably leaking from the crank seal, which is just behind the gear that the timing belt runs on.
This is a Honda engine here, a little 4-cylinder. And you can see this is the timing belt, and the other engine had all the covers on and the other belts. But on this we have it apart so you can see the camshaft and the crankshaft and the oil pump and water pump that's driven by the timing belt. So it is, as I said before, real critical that be replaced on time, because if it isn't, the valves, which are these right here, you can see the valves for the engine, they will get hit by the piston if that belt breaks, and then what happens is it bends these valves and they have to be replaced. So instead of being a few $100s for a timing belt, now you're a couple $1,000 to replace it, or take the cylinder head off and replace the valves and everything. So it will save you a lot of money to have that done.
All cars pretty much wear out brakes. The front brakes wear out much faster than the rears because all the weight's going forward. But it's a good idea to have the rotors resurfaced when you replace the brakes, and just make sure the calipers aren't leaking any fluid, and everything looks good there. GT Automotive will be happy to look over your car and check it all out, and we'll let you know what things need to be, like oil leaks like this, need to be repaired, and what can wait till later, so you don't take good care of your car.
Shop we built about 6 years ago. It's a state-of-the-art facility. We have an express loop on this side, and then 9 repair bays on the other side, and really quite a nice lobby and everything inside. So we've been real proud of this facility. It's done a good job for us. We would love to have you stop in and see us.